Got chronic fatigue syndrome and you're having surgery soon? Don't just go in for it until you watch this video. Here's the thing. General anesthesia is known to greatly negatively impact people with chronic fatigue syndrome, POTS, mitochondrial dysfunctional diseases.
I guess that means me.
So if you have one of those, listen to these tips. But what could possibly happen, I hear you saying.
All right, listen up. Listen up.
Okay, look, I've been under the knife a few times myself, so I can speak from experience using these tools and not using these tools. So people with mitochondrial dysfunction, did I say mitochondrial before? Disregard that, whatever, I'll go back and forth, I always do. We tend to have a harder time waking up. We have lasting digestion issues. It can make all of our symptoms get a lot worse, etc., etc. All from just having surgery. Not just surgery, but the anesthesia from surgery.
It's coming back under the residual effects of the anesthesia that's the problem.
Because boy, howdy, you guys. The first few surgeries I had without this, I was so sick. I had such a hard time waking up. I was kind of scared.
You can't wake up.
Really hard for me to wake up. It took a lot longer for me. I literally was shoved into the car to go home before I was even conscious, fully conscious. This wasn't the greatest hospital ever. They almost killed me and my mom on 2 separate occasions. Not going to go into that. But the first time especially, I was scared I was blind.
I'm blind! I'm blind!
It was really creepy, you guys. And the sick I have never had puking feel so good and therapeutic before in my life than when I had surgery with these bad anesthetic drugs. Oh God, I never thought puking could be an enjoyable thing, but boy was it, because it was getting that crap out of my system, you guys. Whew, it was bad.
That's gross.
It sure is, Billy.
And whole different story when I was able to tell them, hey, I got chronic fatigue syndrome, I got real bad issues, here's a list of my things. And they looked at me a little funny and they looked at the thing and they're like, oh, okay, you need the good stuff. Okay, yeah, I need the good, whatever that means, okay. And whole different story, you guys, from the other surgeries I'd had. This one was fine. I woke up fairly quickly. I could see, I could hear, I understood what was going on really fast.
I'm awake? I'm awake! We did it!
It didn't cause me to crash super bad and afterwards. Did I puke? I think I still puked, but only once after that. And it was, it was nowhere near as bad, you guys. The recovering from anesthesia right after, the recovery from surgery for like the next week, whole different story just because of them changing what they used.
Get on with it!
But luckily, you guys are better off than I was over a decade ago when all this first started for me and there was hardly any information out there. Because I'm going to help give you the info you need to tell your anesthesiologist and your doctor, mostly the anesthesiologist, doing your surgery, what they need to look out for.
Okay, please tell me!
We got a website we're going to check out. We got a couple websites we're going to check out and a couple forms you can print out specifically to give your anesthesiologist. Isn't that cool? I didn't come up with it. I do not get the credit. I'm sure it'll be listed on the actual thing.
Tell us already!
All right.
But it's called a LAPP letter, L-A-P-P, and we're going to check it out right now.
Finally.
Okay, y'all, so in my sources, I'm going to have the link for this, but this is the LAPP surgery prep. But you're going to see here, mecfs, a primer for clinical practitioners, recommendations for patients prior to surgery. So this kind of explains about people with chronic fatigue syndrome, what we have, what it does. It gives little things that they actually care about in there, like up to 97% of people with chronic fatigue syndrome demonstrate vasovagal syncope, which means fainting. on table tilt testing. So that'd be like POTS kind of a thing. But all these things are really important to the anesthesiologist. Allergic reactions are seen more commonly in persons with chronic fatigue syndrome than the general population. This is very important for anesthesiologists because they give us a lot of drugs that if we're allergic to them while we're under, that is bad news bears. Okay, so then it gets into the nitty-gritty. Histamine releasing anesthetic agents, and it gives specifics. And muscle relaxants also give specifics. Are best avoided if possible. Now, the way when I explained this to my anesthesiologist the last time I went in for surgery, which was me getting my appendix out emergently, they said, oh, then you get the good stuff, is kind of how they said it, and I thought that was funny. And so, yeah, I think it just means the more expensive stuff. Okay, and it also says herbs and alternative therapies are frequently used with us. You have to tell your anesthesiologist about anything you're doing that involves herbs, supplements, that kind of thing, because it can interact with the anesthesia they're going to give you, the medications they're going to give you. So make sure you have a list of all that you're bringing with you. And it even goes through the most common ones to be concerned about, which is so nice that it actually tells you these things. Garlic, ginkgo, ginseng. Gee, those aren't common at all. Like, you know? And it tells you why. Ephedra, kava, St. John's wort, all these things, it explains to you why. This is a really nice thing to bring in to have. Again, it's down in the sources of my video description. And they actually do recommend you discontinue some of these things 2 to 3 weeks before your procedure. Sometimes it's an emergency and you can't. Just make sure you let them know. Also, what dose you're taking of it. There's also stuff in here for just your doctor, things they should be doing beforehand. Mostly it's just up to you, really. Make sure you're hydrated prior to surgery. No, you can't drink. You have to be NPO so many hours beforehand. So make sure before that NPO session you're drinking lots of water and hydrating if it's an elective surgery. Yeah, use sedating drugs sparingly. This is very important. The more they use, the harder it is for us to come out of some of these things. And this was really cool. This LAPP procedure thing was actually made by a few doctors. And there's no reason for you to be disregarded on printing this out and giving it to your anesthesiologist and your doctor. This was made by doctors. It has a bibliography. It has sources. There's no reason for them to disregard it. And in fact, they'll probably be very happy about it. And I wouldn't be surprised at this point, at this day and age, if they haven't seen it before. Now, there's also one from Dr. Cheney, and he has a similar kind of thing he wrote out. I don't like it as much. It's more of a to whom it may concern little thing that's written in fancy schmancy anesthesiologist talk. Couldn't hurt to have both. Couldn't hurt to have both. It does go through a little bit more technical stuff in that. Again, it has written by a doctor, has a good bibliography here. There's no reason it should be disregarded. So it couldn't hurt to have both. If anything, it'll back up the other one you have as proof that, hey, this is a real thing. This isn't a one-off or whatever. So printing both those out, having them, I've even heard of people laminating them. I guess it depends on how many surgeries you're used to having. And again, both of these are in the description under sources. Okay, so yeah, basically print those out, take them in. So when you're going in for surgery, what will happen is you're going to be sitting there, you're in your gown, you got your cap on, you're all ready, you're waiting, you're nervous. And what's going to happen is the anesthesiologist is going to come over, usually around the same time that phlebotomy is coming to put in your IVs and stuff. And they're going to announce themselves as the anesthesiologist.
I'm an anesthesiologist.
If not, ask. They're going to try and calm you down and explain what's going to go on. And if you're like me, then right after they put that thing in your vein, they're going to start injecting some of the sedation. What's the rush? So, before they do that, you want to give them these papers. You want to be like, wait, before anything gets injected. So, most likely while they're putting in the IV, this is the best time to do that. Or right when they come up to you, to the nurse, to whoever. Hey, I got these papers. I need to give this to the anesthesiologist. I have issues with anesthesia. This will help explain it. It'll save you a lot of headache.
Shake off the anesthesia and you'll see that science has made you more special.
Share this, please, with your groups. I know this is a very common topic that's brought up, and hopefully this is a little easier for some people to digest. Please share this with them. I hope my stories set you at ease. For more chronic illness help and info and fun, check out some of my other stuff, and don't forget to subscribe. That sounds so lame. But anyways, you guys are great. Hope this helped. Keep on surviving.